Welcome to 15 News Weekly, news and activities happening in and around Southfield. Here's your update. Detroit Free Press veteran reporter Rochelle Riley has spent decades fighting for social good, and her latest project, The Burden, African Americans and the Enduring Impact of Slavery, is a collection of essays that aim to show that the effects of slavery remain. The Southfield Public Library recently played host to the author, reporter, as she held a book signing and lectured to promote the book.
We had the launch for my book at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, which was absolutely the right place to start it because they have one of the best exhibits in the world on the Middle Passage and just how horrible slavery was at its beginning and at its end. And you can imagine how horrible it would continue to be just by how people were stuck into the bottoms of ships and brought over to build America without getting paid, as my daughter used to say. The brown people didn't get paid? No, they were treated like animals and like beasts of burden and put this country together. And what we haven't done, literally, since the Emancipation Proclamation and the freedom that it promised but did not uphold, is to figure out how to get along as, all Americans instead of former owners and former slaves, because even though no one today owns, well, that I know of, owns a slave, and no one in America, although there are plenty of other countries, but in America owns a slave, it's not a personal conversation about what you've done or what I've done. It's about that recognition of that pain and the fact that there are still vestiges of that racism that are born in how that all went for 300 years that we have to deal with.
The idea for the publication had been something Riley had been marinating on for years.
Well, I have wanted to do this for over a decade, but 3 years ago, this columnist at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Jack Kelly, wrote a column saying slavery is not hurting any African American living today, and they're better off than had they stayed in Africa, as if people decided, oh, we'll just go over here and try this and see how that works. And I was so bothered by the heinousness of it that I was going to write a column. Then I said, no, I'll write an essay. Then I said, no, I'll write a book. And then I thought, no, if I write a book, that's me, just one more, person railing against this system of ignoring something. I wanted to create a course, a book, so I asked 23 friends, and some people who weren't friends but who are fabulous writers, if they would also join me. And the amazing thing was, all I did was say, this is the theme. Every single one of the essays that came back were all different, the different ways that slavery impacts African Americans today. And as long as it's impacting African Americans, it's impacting all Americans. And if we want to, answer Rodney King's question, why can't we all get along, then we have to deal with why we can't all get along. And it's because we continue to try to sweep under the rug something that is America's greatest shame, when instead we could actually talk about it, feel better about it, have an acknowledgement that it happened, and not be so angry that people want that acknowledgement.
Riley hopes that the takeaway from her book and lecture series is that it opens up dialogue and idea exchanges between people from all walks of life.
Whether I do 30 of these, which are already scheduled, or 3,000 of these, which would be wonderful, I want people to leave and to take with them the sense and feeling that they can have this conversation, that this is no longer taboo, this is no longer something that you can't talk about, because if we ignore it, it will go away. If we learn nothing literally since 1863 is this is not going to go away until we deal with it. So the idea that you can try to force people to not talk about it or pretend like it isn't worth talking about, or even try to run away from it, it's not going to happen. And as I say in the introduction to the book, I will not stop talking about slavery.
To stay updated regarding book signings, lectures, and events related to Riley's book release, visit RochelleRiley.com. The recent Winter Olympics has generated interest in winter sports and activities, such as ice skating, and Southfield Youth Assistance recently hosted a Sweetheart Open Skate that engaged young people while encouraging a love of the sport.
Well, today we're having a skate party to help the youth here in Southfield, and we are hoping that all the youth participate as many as we can on this snowy day. We would like to encourage youth to have fun and to collaborate with one another.
For local families, the event afforded the opportunity to get out of the house, bond, and enjoy the sport together.
I'm very excited that there's open skate here at Southfield. It's a great opportunity for us to get out, exercise, and have make some good family memories here.
As for Southfield Youth Assistance, the program is one of many initiatives offered throughout the year designed to enrich area youth. To learn more about community activities and programs coordinated by Southfield Youth Assistance, visit southfieldya.org. Community theater continues to be a viable form of entertainment for local theater goers and a vehicle for thespians to hone their craft. Oak Park's Temple Emmanuel Church was home to a one-woman play by Southfield native Heidi Rose, who acted out various autobiographical vignettes centered around her life.
Amy is brain dead in a hospital in New Orleans after being struck by celebratory gunfire in the middle of Jackson Square. Machines keeping her body alive until recipients for her organs can be found.
Rose's play was a deeply personal and family affair as it touched on various conflicts throughout her life and her coping mechanisms for dealing with them.
It's my perspectives on these specific family members, but it's more biographical in some ways too, because they're really not about me. They're really more about these other people and my relationship with them and my perceptions of them and how we all kind of connect.
My dad recorded that song when he was 84. He died a couple of years later. And then Alex chanted the same song at his bar mitzvah. And they sing it in the same key.
Rose, who is also a professor at an area university, hopes to translate her female-centered family stories into film, thus preserving them as an outstanding component which may prove helpful in future endeavors.
You know, there are lots of complex family stories that are relevant to everyone, right? Everybody has these, and I think I've taken it upon myself, as many people do, to sort of be the bard, you know, the one who chronicles these stories and makes sure that some of these people and these relationships and these perspectives don't disappear, because it's through stories that we all keep everybody alive.
It's just my mom and me, off balance. Always just a little off balance without the other.
If you enjoy problem solving, collaboration, and working under pressure, then escape room games may be for you. The escape room concept is a new form of themed entertainment popping up across the country, and it involves players willingly getting trapped in a room, and in order to get out, they must solve a series of puzzles. The Southfield Public Library recently held their latest round of escape room games, which has captured the interest and curiosity of area residents. Library staff have employed various themes with the escape rooms revolving around what's hot in popular culture.
So we have done a Game of Thrones theme, and our setting is at Castle Black, up on the wall. So the idea is that the White Walkers are coming to get you, and you have to find the key pieces before the White Walkers arrive in order to save all of Westeros.
Escape rooms often involve teamwork and collaboration in attempts to win the game and escape the room.
So when you come into the library, we'll lead you up to where we have the escape room set up. This time it's in our history room on the 3rd floor. You'll be inside the room with your friends and then one library staff member. And you won't be locked in, you can get out at any time, but in order to win the room or solve all the puzzles, you'll need to work together and solve the clues.
Overall, library staff see the escape rooms as a great alternative for family fun and engagement.
This is just a really fun thing. A lot of times escape rooms to do a commercial one are pretty expensive. You're paying an individual rate for 7, a whole family. So it's really fun to come in and do one at the library for free. It's a great way to engage with written material in a different way. All of our escape rooms are based on books thus far. So it's a good way to interact with something you've read in a new fun way.
To learn more about upcoming escape room activities, visit southfieldlibrary.org. Lawrence Tech University, in partnership with radio station WWJ AM 950, recently presented its latest installment of its Leaders and Innovators series that address how new office trends are driving changes in today's workplace that in turn affect businesses and their employees.
Everybody is an expert in their own area, but nobody's an expert in everything, and that's why generations have to come together, they have to respect each other, and that will add to the work environment, and it will add to making a workplace really dynamic.
The event featured a panel of corporate professionals who discussed millennials and diversity in the workplace.
Embrace, but we haven't talked about it though, but diversity is changing as well in terms of ethnic diversity, gender diversity across the board. So I think going forward, diversity will be a huge player in defining what our workspaces look like, because it's huge and top of mind to the millennials. I mean, they want diversity. They want a diverse workforce, and they're going to drive it in the workplace.
One major takeaway from the program is that good communication will always drive productivity and a healthy work environment.
And I think it really is important for companies and employees to have a mutual sense of trust and a healthy amount of transparency, so we can grow together then. It's not just the business pulling up the employee or the employee getting bored and looking for new opportunities. Everybody's involved as a group.
The program was a timely one, as there is a multi-generational presence in the workplace, with a greater number of millennials being the dominant force.
Figuring out what each of us brings as a strength is, I think, the key to a successful work environment. Being able to understand what they have to offer, their technology skill sets, their ability to work with each other and find the important information that you need in order to make good decisions and solve problems is critical, but also understanding that everybody works in a different way. So different generations may have different approaches or different strategies.
To learn more about upcoming Leaders and Innovators programs and various other LTU-related events, visit ltu.edu. The North American International Auto Show is one of the premier events in the country as it presents the newest in auto vehicle releases and technological unveilings. And this year was no different. 15 News was there, and we give you a unique look back at some of the highlights from this year's auto show. SUVs with intelligent features and technology upgrades made a big splash this year. The Ford Edge certainly fit the bill as the vehicle enjoyed a rebranding and relaunch. Ford is squarely going after younger consumers with the Edge in hopes that its latest version of sync technology that's incorporated into it will draw them in.
We've got a lot of intelligent features. We're giving customers standard automatic emergency braking. They're going to be able to have pedestrian detection, forward collision warning, and some other great intelligent features like embedded modem.
The Edge wasn't the only major highlight from Ford. Their flagship sports coupe, the Mustang, received special treatment with the 50th anniversary edition commemorating its star turn in the 1968 movie Bullitt.
We have done a tribute car to the movie car, which is a very simple, clean, uncluttered, beautiful design, in keeping with what the original car was, which is really this badass Mustang. So it's in Highland green paint, which is very similar to what the original color was, very, very close. The car is debadged, has different grills in the front. The only badge on the back is the faux gas cap that says Bullitt on it. It's got unique trim on the interior, premium seats, you can get Recaro seats in it. It has over 475 horsepower, a special suspension, and an exhaust note. So if you remember in the movie, the 10 minutes that you just heard that iconic exhaust note, we've tried to get a little bit closer to that as well, so the car sounds absolutely killer.
Ford achieved a rare trifecta as its long-absent Ranger midsize pickup made a triumphant return with new technology and all-terrain options designed to woo outdoor adventurers.
What we found when we talked to customers about the Ranger is they're not looking for a mini F-150. They are looking for a maneuverable, garageable, parkable vehicle they can use as a daily driver and be able to get away for the weekends or whatever their adventure is. So we expect a lot of off-road usage in this truck.
The focus of this year's auto show was prominently fixed on trucks and SUVs, and Jeep continued that theme with its unveiling of a refreshed version of its Cherokee crossover. The Jeep Cherokee gets a new front fascia, a direct-injected 2.0-liter turbocharged i4, and a new hands-free power liftgate.
A large 8.4-inch touchscreen, and it has great features like pinch and zoom on the nav, so I can pinch and zoom just like on my tablet. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is available in there as well. This vehicle also features, it's probably the largest panoramic sunroof in the D-Class segment.
To get a thorough overview of all the new vehicle releases at this year's auto show, visit NAIAS.com. Our Job Minute segment hooks up job seekers with employment opportunities. Check out the following. Position, Public Works Analyst. Company, City of Southfield. Responsibilities include coordinating detailed statistical analysis of programs and purchases, budget preparation, and monitoring and grant reporting. Position, Water Billing Clerk 2. Company, City of Southfield. Responsibilities include reconciling water auto payments, processing work orders for billing, and reviewing and correcting erroneous bills. To learn more about job opportunities at the City of Southfield, visit cityofsouthfield.com. That brings us to the end of this 15 News Weekly edition. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.